The ghosts are moving tonight. Rest tonight. Rest only.
Hey, Lucifer. How are you?
Good evening, Wullie. How the devil art thou, good sir?
I art devilishly good this evening, I have to say.
Lovely.
Yeah, devilishly good. Because this is our first regular episode of the horror show since we did our special a few weeks ago. So I thought if we're going to be doing this as a regular monthly thing, we need kind of up our game a little bit. So we've got a guest tonight for everybody. And we're not going to waste any time really doing it. We're going to introduce her straight away and bring her in. I think there's a few people hiding it there watching already on Facebook and on YouTube and wherever. We're not doing Twitch tonight. So the one person who watches us sometimes on Twitch, they're going to have to come to YouTube like everybody else. Okay, guys. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play a little trailer for a movie that's made by our guest tonight, Emma Dark. And you know what I'm like. I'm clicking on the StreamYard things and I'm on the wrong thing already. What's the matter with me, guys? So if you just bear with me, here's a little trailer featuring and directed by Ms. Emma Dark. Brilliant. And welcome, Emma.
Hello.
And that was, of course, your film Seize the Night.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, yes.
When was that made?
2014 now, so a little while ago. That was my first festival short film.
Right. And was that your first full film, like in the director's chair, as it were?
Yes, yeah. I just kind of launched into that from nowhere. So it was very ambitious.
That's the best way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Go for it. Yeah, it looks great. I've seen the film as well. It is great. So everybody should check it out. We'll do all that later. We'll show them. We'll show them the website and everything else. But first, we'll have a quick look and see who's turned up. Wise Guys Entertainment is here.
Evening,
Wise Guys. Good seeing you, mate. And People Circus, all the way from Wales. Good seeing you, peeps. There's a few other people hiding out there. We'll give them a name call when they turn up. But yeah, so Emma, horror.
Yeah,
I just say horror. Why? How? When did you first get interested in watching horror movies?
So I've always had an interest in horror films, basically. I can't remember a time where I haven't had an interest. Even as like a really small child, just watching anything with a horror element, I just absolutely loved it. And I ended up watching Albert Pune's The Sword and the Sorcerer, which is a dark fantasy film, but it's got a very strong horror element, especially at the beginning. I loved it. I really loved it. And I'm not sure why I started calling the sorcerer in it my red brother, and my mum ended up turning it off because she thought it was a bit too weird. So yeah,
I can go with that. We're big fans of Albert Pune on this channel. In fact, just last week we watched the trailer for his Captain America movie and had a good chat about him. He always seems to pop up in the chat.
He's great. He's a really nice person. Maybe try and get him on or something.
I think so. Yeah. Because I think he's had this wild kind of career of all different genres and playing around with all different things. But yeah, The Sword and the Sorcerer, I remember that being trailed on as a big cinema release at the time as well, and being thoroughly entertained by the three-pronged sword that the character had, which was great. Not to be confused with Hawk the Slayer's ping pong ball sword, which was an entirely different
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, but that's cool. So that was like the Sword and the Sorcerer was your kind of like gateway drug into horror.
It was, yeah, for kind of like film stuff and everything like that. I mean, I was watching kind of like sci-fi things from very, very early on as well. So I was literally watching Star Trek from the age of 2. So I don't know who does that. Like,
Nice.
I don't know, it's a bit uber geeky, isn't it? Really, but
No, I did
yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah,
But my whole family sat around the old CRT TV, you know, and I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
was up to watching Star Trek.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I called my first teddy bear toy. She's actually in this room of strange dolls and stuff with me. I called her Scotty, so which was after of course, Star Trek. So
Well,
yeah.
that's very good name to give her. We've got actually Pete's just turned up. Hey, Pete, hello there. He's been doing
Hello,
the Lord's
Pete.
work and promoting like mad out there.
Yeah, I've seen all his tweets and everything going off.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And Crimson Isle Comics, hello there, welcome. Comic Lord, and Adams, mate, how you doing? Not my monkey, not my circus, guys.
Hello, good sir.
If you have any questions for Emma, please do put them in the chat. I'll be checking the chat as we go on. And you behave yourself, monkey. Right. Albert Pye, Star Trek, that's a great kind of start. Was there any other kind of like thing that, other than just the films and TV? I mean, because I know when I was a kid, we would always be passing like novels around the playground, you know, like somebody would know the Stephen King, somebody would even know the James Herbert, and you'd be, you know, then we should finish one novel and pass them. Were there any kind of authors you were reading?
Not at that kind of young age. So I mainly started reading, I think, around the age of 12, going to the library and stuff like that. But before that, I was raiding the cupboard with my dad's books. So he had Jaws and stuff like that, and he had James Herbert's Rats. So I was reading that. I can't remember what age I was, to be honest, but it was definitely sort of before the age I was regularly going to the library. And then I'd go to the library and rent out like 10 books a month and read those, kind of all like the sort of the young tween, as you call them now, and teen kind of novels and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, but I remember kind of the going along looking at the books that were in the house, you know, and you'd see all the usual ones. You'd have like Kidnapped and Treasure Island and all this kind of stuff, and then you'd find The Satanist by Dennis Wheatley. You go, I'll give that a wee look.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you could actually go out and buy them yourself. I think it was James Herbert was the one I enjoyed reading the most, I think. James Herbert and Stephen King.
Yeah.
So The Rats is a good one to start with. I think that was a lot of people's first James Herbert book. Yeah,
I think it was incredibly popular, wasn't it, at the time? So
yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Rats and any number of Nazi-themed horror books that James Herbert seemed to write.
Yeah,
I remember getting reading. But we have also been joined by hello, Ginge. How are you?
Ginge, how the devil art thou, good sir?
And somebody who's just as cold as I am right now up in Scotland, Michael. It's about -8 here right now, so I'm freezing. When he's just stopped shivering about half an hour ago.
That's not good, is it?
Not at all. So you've got this huge collection. Well, it's huge compared to most people's collection of scary dolls. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the fascination? What was the first scary doll that kind of like took your fancy?
I think Chucky. I mean, I've always been obsessed with Chucky. So I'm one of these strange people. So there are lots of people, and they collect like Chucky dolls and things. They'll collect every single one, and have like a massive room full of Chucky dolls. That's not me. So I've as they've come out over the years, probably over about, I don't know, probably about the past 20 years or so, as they've come out, I've collected them, and then I just gradually sell them as I find better ones.
Right.
So I've only got 2 large Chucky dolls a minute. Actually, I do have one more, which was one of the ones from the 90s, a promotional one. But I can't get to that at the minute. It's kind of hidden away behind me. But yeah, I recently bought the large full size Good Guy doll from Trick or Treat Studios.
Nice.
And he is absolutely amazing. He's really beautiful, but very big. So because he's full size.
Full
That warms
size.
my heart.
So
That
yeah,
warms
like,
my heart.
Yeah. Oh, he's lovely. I just think he looks super cute, not creepy. But yeah, all these dolls that I've got, I mean, they are like life size compared to what they are in the film. So I don't have a massive amount of dolls, but the ones I've got, because they're big, they take up so much room.
Yeah.
You know, just to set up this call tonight, I had to rearrange this room and kind of like, you know, put them all next to me to get them in frame. And yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I'm glad it all starts with Chucky. I'm a big fan of Chucky. I've got a Chucky tattoo right there.
Oh, nice.
I actually have the same birthday as Brad Dourif, which is something that I found out a few years ago, and I was like, oh, it's like the stars aligned. It's like it's meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Brad Dourif. We need to do a show on Brad Dourif as well.
Yes.
We've got a list of all these people we're going to do, because Albert Payne's on the list, Brad Dourif, and we've got a running joke about doing one on Jess Franco at some point as well.
Rock on, I'm down.
But we can't find anybody who likes his movies to do it with. So
really? I could probably put you in touch with like at least half a dozen people.
Right, okay, that sounds good. Yeah,
that's good then.
That sounds good, because he's a bit of a running joke here. Yeah. Terrible somewhere. We have been joined by some more people. The Statistical Zero is in the chat. Hey, Stato. How are you? And I think, I don't like to miss anybody. I think I've got, you can tell me, Lucifer, if I do miss anybody, but hey, everybody, get your questions sorted.
I believe there was a Tony in the chat.
Oh, this moves too fast for me. We don't want to become too big a channel, because I'll never be able to keep up with it. But welcome to you all. Now, you direct, you act in, and you write, and cinematography as well, I suppose. Is all do you?
Not. Yeah. I do, but I try not to do that for my own films. I did try it once, and yeah, I mean, it worked out all right. I don't think I'm a bad cinematographer, if you want to call me that. I'm not sure I can. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm bad with camera work.
But it's worth giving. It's worth giving these things a go when you're working independently, because you kind of want to know all the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something small, I'm just shooting with one actor or something, I can do that. It's not a problem. But if you're doing that with like a larger production, you've got to direct, film. There are bits where I have acted in it, so that, trust me, it's very difficult to film yourself. And you know, I produce things, so when you're taking all of that on board, you don't really want to be filming as well. I know some people can do it. I've got a couple of friends that do it, and they do a really good job, and they film everything super fast. They do everything in like 1 or 2 takes, and it looks great.
Yeah.
But that's not me. I'm like so panicky. It's not going to be in 1 or 2 takes if I'm shooting it. So my last film, Salient -10, I had Philip Bloom on board for that. So he shot that, and he's basically one of the best cinematographers in the world. So and he was responsible for starting off the whole movement into digital cameras and opening up to have all people like myself, indie filmmakers, able to shoot things. You know, he does a lot of great work today. He gives loads of reviews on things, tips and stuff, like every day for free to people. So I definitely recommend people checking out his work. He's really good.
Yeah, I think there's something to check up there. Digital Filmmaker magazine. Yes. Yeah.
So I used to write for that magazine. So it doesn't exist anymore. It was the only filmmaking magazine in the UK, specifically targeted towards small independent filmmakers. And I, for 18 months, ran the Q&A section. So people would ask me all kinds of crazy questions. You know, like how are they going to set a car on fire for a film and stuff like that, to like crazy things like that, to more simple things like how do I get funding and stuff like that. So I'd answer this every month. But like I said, that's finished now, but I am writing for another magazine, and this comes into the whole kind of classic horror thing. So We Belong Dead magazine. And I've got a column in that. I can show you that.
Yes, please do.
I think Otis is half falling over as I'm pulling this off. One second. I need to take him off the chair. Oh,
he's not wanting to let it go.
No. See, you know, he's probably cursed. Whoops. That's what's happened there. Yeah. So We Belong Dead magazine. A couple of nice covers there.
That's cool. That's keeping up with a good tradition of the British magazines.
Yeah, exactly. If I can open it without Otis causing another disaster. There you go. So that's the column. Emma Dark's Dark Corner.
Cool.
And
Nice.
yeah, that's just writing about what I'm up to kind of like every so often. So it's bi-monthly at the minute.
Right.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm going
it's-
to check that out. I'm going to check that out as well because I just found out about it recently. And it's like I was saying, there's a good tradition in the UK of having these bespoke kind of horror magazines that have their own
Yeah.
flavour that you don't really get with the magazines that came over from the US. You know, they're completely different in flavour and very
Yeah.
British. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely geared towards a lot of things like Hammer and stuff like that. So, if you like that kind of thing, you'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
Cool. Where can we find it?
You can only buy it, to my knowledge, from the We Belong Dead website.
Okay.
So if you just type in We Belong Dead, I think it's .co.uk.com. I'm not sure, but if you just type in We Belong
Just type
Dead
that in,
magazine,
guys.
it will
Yep.
come up. So
It'll come
yeah.
up. Somebody will
excellent.
find the link and put it into the put it into
Yeah,
the
sorry,
chat. I'm sure.
I feel like I should know it, but
Pete,
I don't. Sorry, Eric, who's the editor.
where you? Oh, not my monkey. My pal is a fast doll from the film Magic. Yeah,
Oh, very nice.
I put him up there. This is my favourite doll. Technically not a killer doll. Well, but kind of, but not. It's a hard one to categorise. But
Yeah.
very creepy and almost forgotten movie in many ways.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take you right back now because we know you're interested in horror, but how
Yeah.
did you get involved in actually working in horror films in any way whatsoever?
Yeah, so before this kind of stuff, the filmmaking and the acting and all that, I did modelling for a number of years. So it was a lot of alternative modelling for like boutique fashion brands and sort of catalogues and stuff like that. And through that, I ended up getting involved in a music video. So Kim Wilde and BEF's Every Time I See You, I Go Wild. Thank you, Peephole Circus. You've done the job I should have done there.
And there's a shop link as well for Pete.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah,
They're on the
it's sold
chat.
through Hemlock as well. Yeah, so I got involved in this music video and I had quite a big sort of featured part in it, which was pretty cool. You can just check it out online. Again, just type in Kim Wilde, Every Time I See You, Go Wild on YouTube. It'll come up. There's a few uploads of it on there. And then I did a few more music videos for a friend, like sort of indie music videos. And then I ended up just interviewing people at Fright Fest. I don't know if you know, Fright Fest is the biggest genre festival in the UK.
Yep.
So I was interviewing people there for a couple of friends, like news sites and stuff. And yeah, I just thought people were doing this really, really amazing work. Like, just it looked so slick, so spot on. And these people hadn't made films before. So I just thought, okay, if other people can do it, I can do it. And I just kind of launched into that. And before the whole modelling stuff and everything, I used to do fine art, photography and everything like that. So I come from a creator background. You can probably tell because of all the things I do on my own films, I'm more of a creator that way than I am front of camera. The front of camera stuff has just kind of happened along the way.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I like doing it. But if it hadn't, I'd still just be doing the creator stuff. So
Yeah, cool. So the first time you thought to yourself, I'm going to make a short movie, or did you, or if you got like a feature hidden away in your head that you've been thinking about, and then it became a short movie? How was the process of you getting to make a short movie?
No, so with Seize the Night, I kind of wanted to do that as like a sort of mini series. But I mean, honestly,
right.
like the amount it costs to do these things, so that cost about £5,500. Most of that came from my own pocket. It's very hard to get crowdfunding and be able to have like the kind of profits to go and do these things, the budget to do it. So after the first one, although it did very well, and I'm very grateful for that, and got a lot of attention and people like it, it's very unlikely I'd be making any more just because of the cost. So then people get into because I've done a couple of vampire short films. One, I've been in, obviously, and then a couple of other things I've starred in, people get a bit like vampire obsessed and they start boxing you into this stuff. So I really wanted to make sure that the stuff I did since then didn't have vampires in it. Which is why I then did the sci-fi with Salient -10 and the little mobile short film I did, Goryo, is a ghost story. And the next thing I want to do again is going to be more along the kind of traditional ghost story kind of aspect. I can't talk too much about that, but I would like to make that as a feature. But again, I mean, I certainly can't fund it myself. So it depends whether I could do that with crowdfunding, possible. I could do it very cheaply, maybe, with crowdfunding, or if I could get like a production company to actually invest in it, which would be the ideal outcome, because then I'd have more budget to play with. But we just have to see what would happen, really.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'm jumping all over the place here because I should talk about what came after that, but I'm not going to, because Otis is down there at your feet, and we got a wee glimpse of him.
Yeah, he's in my. I feel a bit weird and uncomfortable because I'm like hugging this doll to keep him like on my lap. Because
you're working on something right now.
Yes,
with Otis, aren't you? Which, can you give us a wee snippet of what that's about, or?
Not really, no. So that's the. So this is part of the feature thing that I want to make.
Right.
So if I can't make it as a feature, I could always make a short. Well, the other option is I make a trailer with bits of everything I want to make in the feature and try and get it funded off the back of that, which is something one of my friends who's a very good filmmaker, David Cave, has done recently. I don't know, I haven't been in touch with him recently to find out how that's going, but I thought that was a really good idea. So that might be something that I could do going forwards. But yeah, Otis would be in this film. I can show you him.
Yeah, let's have. I'm going to big you up here, and let's have a. Wow.
Oh, that
so he's
awesome.
pretty creepy. Yeah. So I think he's. I mean, yeah, don't quote me on it, but so it was a chap called Twisted Tug Studio in America that sculpted him, and I think he did it from a Charlie McCarthy sculpt. So
right.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, like don't quote me on that, but I think he did. So.
Excellent.
He great.
It does. Yeah, let's hope that becomes a feature, though, or as part of the feature. That's gonna. Yeah. Let's hope. Either way, a short would be good as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if all else fails, there will be a short film. But I want to make a feature for a couple of reasons. One, you know, I think it's time to make a feature. I've made some shorts now, and the amount of time and effort you put into the shorts, I may as well put it into a feature. And the second thing is that features get a lot more attention. So I think my shorts have done reasonably well. But the one thing is, as I'm not totally complaining about this, but a lot of the attention goes on the director and the lead actor, and everyone else kind of gets a little bit forgotten with the short films. And I think having a feature, I think it will help. So the other people that are involved, just get them a bit more attention as well, because that is important to me, because it is a collaborative effort and people are putting a lot of their own time and energy into things. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think you've already kind of answered Paul's question here, but hi Paul, thanks for joining us. So I think you've already kind of answered that about being a sequel to Season Night or something.
It won't happen. Yeah.
I
mean, let's put it this way: if a big Hollywood production company came up to me and they said, "We'd like to hire you to come on board as a director. We want to make this into a feature film. Are you up for that?" I would say yes. I wouldn't be turning that down. But off my own back, it's not going to go any further. Yeah. Not for the foreseeable future, or possibly ever. So.
I could tell that by the look in your eyes when you. I was thinking, did you actually come across a real nest of vampires?
Oh dear.
And Bristolian Dave is joining us. Hey Dave, and yes, we'll be sharing the webpage and where you can go in a little bit, and then you can all dive off there, and you can buy the DVDs of them as well. Yeah. So please do. And Stato saying you were talking about earlier, the kind of marketing work for Hammer and Canon, so why not? Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, vampire dolls.
No.
They're trying to box you in again.
Yeah.
I warned you about the chat.
I think actually, because I was looking at doll films on Amazon Prime the other day, just to see like how many kind of doll films have been made, and I'm sure there was one that was called Vampire Dolls. Actually, I might be wrong. I did write down a list of stuff, but I think there was something called Vampire Dolls or something similar.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
Yeah. We're all about the werewolves on this channel, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
So roughly how long does it take for you to put together a production for a short film like Seize the Night? Like the kind of pre-production stuff. How long does that take in comparison to the actual production of the short?
Pre-production isn't too long, to be honest. I could usually do that in 2 to 3 months. Starting from the script, kind of going forwards. But and shooting itself can be quite quick. So for a short, I think Salient was 3.5 days. Seize the Night was about 10 days. So it's a lot, but there are a lot more locations and stuff going on there in different scenes. It's the post-production that takes ages. It just takes so long because I want to get everything perfect. And I do a lot of the stuff myself as well. So you go through lots of iterations and then there are other elements like composers coming in and visual effects and things like that. So the post-production is what takes a long time. Then taking it around the festival circuit, and you've got to do it justice. You want to try and get it viewed. You want to try and get awards for your cast and crew and stuff. So it needs to stay on the circuit for some amount of time. And then, of course, after all that's done, you've got all the marketing campaign to do for the release. So, it's quite involved.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah.
I'm going to, before we talk a bit more about Salient -10, I'm going to play the trailer for everybody to have a wee look at.
Okay.
So they'll know, they'll get an idea of what it is we're going to be talking about here.
Cool.
Yeah, see, that looks good. It is good because I've seen it. I know it's good.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's proper sci-fi kind of thing as well. It's not one of these we've just encased a kind of wee horror story in a sci-fi trappings. It's proper sci-fi. So what was that like? What was that like approaching a science fiction concept?
No different to anything else, really. I mean, I love sci-fi and horror, and for me, both films, Seize the Night and Salient -10, blend sci-fi and horror in different ways. I think actually that Salient probably has a stronger horror element in it in terms of, do I want to give away the spoiler? But
No,
cover your ears if you don't want to hear this. But there's a corpse in it, which I think is quite horrific. Whereas in Seize the Night, there's nothing like that. The horror is only really in the fact that they are vampires and werewolves. So, I think in terms of that, it's got a stronger horror element. And I think both films have a sci-fi element. So, yeah. But I do love sort of retro sci-fi.
Yeah, it's got a kind of kind of Quatermass Doom Watch kind of feel about it as well. I think. I think you've answered wise guys here, but yeah, is it all digital? Yeah. I mean, if I filmed on like 16mm or 35mm or something, or even 8mm, it's so expensive to do that. You've got the fact that you can't just do lots of takes and stuff. You're not really seeing what you're getting until afterwards, and it's very expensive to scan the film. Yeah.
So I do have a friend that has done that for his feature, Thomas Akram, and it looks great. It looks beautiful, but it did cost quite a lot of money for him to do that. So digital for now. There was a short film called Purgatoric that I made look like fake Super 8. It seems to have convinced a few people, which is good. But
It's get the filters and everything. They're getting much better now at allowing you to do that.
Yeah. Well, I actually took a scan of Super 8 and put that on top, and then changed all the kind of colours and stuff like that, and fiddle with the grade to get it more looking like it was Super 8. So
yeah, and you did. There was a short Island of the Blind Dead, which was quite good fun. It was just like a blind Tombs of the Blind Dead in the way that it was filmed and put together. Yeah,
I think overall out of everything, I mean, that wasn't a festival or anything like that. It was just a bit of fun.
Yeah,
but overall out of anything, that's probably had the most consistent positive reaction of anything that I've done. So I think it must obviously tick those boxes. But that was shot, like, I don't have it to hand, but on a tiny compact Sony digital camera, just one you can just put in your pocket and carry around with you. Which is pretty I probably wouldn't film much on it, to be honest, but it just so happened that under the lighting conditions with this camera and stuff in this place, it just had the right kind of combination and it looked good.
Yeah. No, I put a smile on my face because it was just like you managed to capture the whole style of those movies just perfectly on it.
Yeah, thank you.
Paul's stealing all my questions for me.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Caroline Munro?
Yeah, she is a really nice lady. So Caroline is, like, apart from being just a really lovely person, and I've signed with her quite a few times at different conventions and stuff like that. And she's always so nice to every fan that comes along, such a warm and welcoming person. And she's like that, behind the scenes in the green room and everything like that as well. Just a really nice person. In terms of her professional acting skills, she's really good. So when we filmed Frankula, I had to learn my lines for days, and I had a script tucked in like my cloak and everything like that. And Caroline had literally looked the night before and she knew everything off by heart. And she just delivered it amazing, and just a real professional. And she's still acting, and I think if anyone wants her for their film, as long as it's a good script and it's shot well, she may consider it. I can't, again, don't quote me on that, but she is still.
Right, Lucifer, we need to write a script after this show, right?
well, I like you. I've signed at many a convention with Caroline, and there was even like a shop opening near where I am for a horror store where they got me and Caroline to sign together, and she is an absolute wonderful person, and like you said, so professional. Every fan, she has got all the time in the world for them, and you couldn't ask for anyone nicer. You really couldn't.
Yeah, no, she's lovely. She is just a really genuinely nice person.
Well, I mean, Dracula AD 1972 is one of my favourite movies. It's by no means a great movie, but it's one of my favourite movies. So you probably have to get a restraining order if I was near her.
See, I think she should have had a bigger part as well in that film.
I think she should have been turned and become a vampire. I know.
Yeah, why does it? Sorry, I've given away another spoiler. I'm terrible for that.
No, I've gone on about this for hours. That's okay. Thematically, he drains her of blood because he's just come to life again. But in other movies, he doesn't do that. So why did he have to? She would have been a fantastic vampire in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and why did Captain Cronus leave her behind at the end as well? I can't figure that out either. It's like three of them should have gone off. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm not going to go into my Hammer stuff. What's this? I need to get a Caroline-like character in the Ailsa Dark story. Right, okay. There might be one coming up. You never know. This month is Women in Horror Month. I have noted.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And you're kind of like quite active in that hashtag and getting things out there. So, what exactly is Women in Horror Month? What's it highlighting other than women in horror films? Yeah,
so it's obviously it's not just about celebrating kind of front of camera stuff. It's celebrating working within the film industry, in totality, basically. So it often highlights directors, cinematographers, writers, people like that aren't always front of camera. They can work behind the scenes and stuff like that. Giving people a platform, that's one of the main things. Highlighting that there is still some sexism and stuff like that out there. So it's basically just giving people a voice. So it's a month to help give female filmmakers and women in film a voice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and horror is a genre that it's kind of like looked down on by the mainstream in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it's one that it seems to be thriving right now with female directors and filmmakers out there, which is good to see.
I think so. I think it's changing, but I don't think it's there yet. There are still lots of stories and things that are going on. Often people still will pick a male director over a female director for a new project, and lots of different things, like sort of more the subtle things. There are more sort of Harvey Weinstein heinous things going on. I've heard a lot of stories firsthand. I don't have any of those myself, thankfully, but it does still happen. So unfortunately,
it's sad, but true. But I'm going to move us on to talking about some of the doll movies now that we've got lined up here. Chat, let us know your favourite doll movies. I think Peeps earlier on mentioned Dolls, the Stuart Gordon movie, which is good. Like all Stuart Gordon movies, it's just this a odd, strange approach to a subject, which is always entertaining to watch. I'm going to start and say mine. I've got two that kind of stand out for me for doll movies, and they're both kind of like to your left there or to your right, depending whether you're looking at the screen or not. The first one is kind of peeking his little kind of like toothy African head in, and that's the doll from Trilogy of Terror, the TV movie, which I saw when I was a kid, and terrified me when I saw it as a child. I was like, what on earth am I watching? This is really scary. Watch it now, not so scary, but still very effective. I think that's the first time I'd ever seen anything where it was like an inanimate toy or object like that that kind of came to life, outside of the Autons and Doctor Who. But then the other one for me is Magic. It's Fats there, Corky's doll from Magic, which is not by any stretch a horror movie in most people's minds. It's one of these movies that mainstream companies, when they put money into it, don't like to call them horror movies. They call them thrillers and psychological thrillers. It's a horror movie. In many ways, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, I'd say psychological thriller. I mean, I haven't seen it now in probably about 10 years. So I can't remember all of it, to be honest, but I didn't leave it quite ambiguous as to...
Yeah, I think it's more of a character piece about somebody's descent into madness, or as the doll and zombie involved in it. I just like the design of the doll as well. I thought that worked really well. So those were mine. Funnily enough, it wasn't like as much as I enjoyed Chucky and Dolls and all those movies. Those are the ones I kind of like. If I was going to have a nightmare and a doll was going to be in it, it would be one of those pair. They'd be in the, or maybe now that I've seen you unbox Annabelle on your channel, it could very well just be that.
This is why she stays in her box.
It's scary because we can see one of her eyes there just looking at us.
Actually, that looks more terrifying, doesn't it? Just with the one eye, sort of.
That's really scary. So Lucifer, what about yourself? Coloured doll movies?
Well, I have to go with Chucky. Like I said earlier,
I guess that. Yeah.
Chucky means the world to me. I absolutely love those first three movies. Bride of Chucky was one that at the time of it coming out, I adored it. I just thought it was fun. But as time's gone on, I've watched it that many times, I'm starting to see the holes in it and I don't enjoy it as much. But I can still go back to those first three. And okay, the third one may not be the best one in the trilogy. It may not be a perfect movie, but it kind of wraps everything up real nicely. And I just found that, like, from Seed of Chucky onwards, well, I didn't really like Seed of Chucky whatsoever. That was one moment I remember sitting around with my friends. We were all so excited to see it for the first time. And at the end of it, they were all like, I bet you're regretting that Chucky tattoo now, aren't you? And I was like, yes, I am. But, the other two that they did, Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. Cult of Chucky was okay. Like, I didn't mind it. I've seen a lot worse. Curse of Chucky I really liked because it was a nice little Southern Gothic movie more than it was a killer doll movie, and I thought that was a nice change for it. But yeah, I'd pretty much cover the Child's Play franchise. One that I like for all the wrong reasons is a little movie called Black Devil Doll from Hell. And I like it because it is absolutely terrible. There is nothing good about that movie whatsoever. It runs for an hour and a half, and really there's only about 20 minutes of story in there. And someone really likes their Casio keyboard because they're using it throughout the entirety of the film, not just the score, throughout the whole film. That keyboard, and it just doesn't suit it. It's completely terrible, and I love it because it's just so damn bad.
Wait, you sold me with the Casio keyboard, but that enough. I thoroughly enjoy that. I'd be watching it and thinking I could make this. So you're all out Chucky. So yeah. Emma, I'm thinking it might be the same as you, but I don't know.
Yes, yeah. So I love Chucky, and again, I'd agree with Lucifer. 1 to 3 are amazing. I really love the Bride of Chucky. I can't remember whether it was the Bride of Chucky or Child's Play 2. Which one was the first one I watched? I definitely watched Bride of Chucky in the cinema, and loved that. Again, Seed. No, it's so bad. Like, I hate to say it, but
still haven't seen that one. So yeah,
it's awful.
I'm curious to see it now.
No, don't watch it. But Cult and Curse are pretty good. I don't think they're the same league as the first 4 films for me. The Child's Play remake, actually, I really loved that. I thought that was great. It's just going on a different route. Lucifer's like, no, I think.
No. Right.
I don't know.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
I just find like there's a lot of plot holes with the story, and I don't know. Those first 3 movies seem really scary to me, even though the concept of like a killer transferring their soul into a doll is kind of goofy. I found that more scary than, here, you've got a smart doll. And someone at this factory decided to turn off its inhibitor thing, and it started going, okay, I'm going to hurt people and stuff. Like that's an oversimplification of it, but that is basically what's going on. And there were I love the fact that it referenced Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That kept me very, very happy. But it didn't make up for like a lot of the faults. Like one thing that lost me very quickly was the scene with Andy where he needs to name the doll. He needs to tell the doll the name. So he says, okay, your name's Han Solo. And he goes, did you say Chucky? No, he didn't. He clearly didn't. Chucky doesn't sound anything like her. And that just pulled me straight out of the movie. And it was just really hard to keep going. I get where you're coming from. It definitely takes it in a different direction. And I think the idea of getting Mark Hamill to voice Chucky was absolutely superb casting. But it didn't do the same thing to me as those first 3 movies did. Those first 3 movies, they stuck with me so long after viewing them.
So you're not going to get another Mark Hamill Chucky on the other shoulder then? No, it's not
Buddy,
happening.
Yeah.
No, I won't, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, it's very different. And I own all of the films. Yeah. Even Seed, even though I don't like it too, but
same here.
You have to complete it.
I've got them all. I've not got the recent one yet, but I've got them all in the box set. So I've just not watched the last couple yet.
Yeah, I think other stuff for me. Okay, this is a bit typical. You can see him here. So Billy from Saw. I know obviously he's not possessed or anything like that. He's just he's like a prop really in that film, but I don't know. It brings me a lot of joy looking at him on his little trike every day.
Yeah, if I can include Fats for magic, you can have him. That's the day for that.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's cool. I like the whole design.
Absolutely. Yeah,
he looks quite different. Yeah, apparently the original prop in the first film was made of papier-mâché and kitchen roll tubes. So
that's the kind of stuff you want in your low budget movies. That's exactly that.
Yeah. So I think he's quite a unique
Like Matt Irvin making a spaceship out of a hairdryer. That's what you want. Yeah.
I like the fact that in Death Sentence, there's a little bit where you're like, that's Billy in the background.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scene where John Goodman and his kid are under the bridge because John Goodman's just sold Kevin Bacon a shitload of guns. On the wall, there's a massive.
Oh, is it the mural?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I've seen that. Yeah, he's also in Dead Silence as well.
I haven't seen Dead Silence.
That's a really good film.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Really good film.
Well, I included the puppet from Dead Silence.
Yeah, who's also called Billy. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's an underrated one.
Yeah, I love that film.
So Wise Guys has picked Puppet Master. Okay. Yes, and I believe Adams has picked Puppet Master too, because Valley of the Dolls doesn't count.
No.
Neither does Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. So yeah, and Hello There World Comics Review, and you've gone for. Oh, right, okay. Does anybody remember House of Dollman?
No,
I do, because I'm an old person. But yeah, that's an old British comic strip. I know. Yeah, forget my own name soon. Yeah, the Puppet Master. We've talked about them a couple of weeks ago on our Tuesday night stream. How do you feel about them, the Puppet Master movies? Yeah, I mean, they really kind of plumb the depths as they carry on.
Puppet Master, I haven't seen since the 90s. Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich, I saw a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
was all right.
It was all right.
Entertaining enough for a one-time watch. Like,
yeah, I think that's
it wasn't really. I mean, I love the puppets, the little toys in it, but
they are great.
The film was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Pete's coming to the table with Dead of Night, which started the whole thing going. It's been years since I've seen that, but that was a not particularly typical Ealing type British movie at the time, but a portmanteau horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I love that.
I remember that. That's scared the hell out of me.
I've got a little African figure at home that I call Charlie Boy. So
right.
I didn't know we could include TV shows. Otherwise, I would have mentioned Twilight Zone, Talkie Tina.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, Talk of the Devil.
Yeah.
We're definitely got a TV now, including Goosebumps.
Yeah. I haven't seen that, but I do know the doll.
No, I don't know the doll. I don't need to check that one after the show. Ginger's going for Chucky. Yeah, but this is a no-brainer. Chucky's going to kill us here with the popularity contest. I don't know if
maybe
Dollman counts. No, I mean, because he's not actually a doll, is he? But it is an Albert Pyun movie, so we'll give it a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. We've solved it then. If we're going to pick if there was going to be like a death match between all those dolls, is Chucky going to be the winner? Yeah,
I think so. I don't see Dolly Dearest coming into this fight whatsoever.
No, I think that the trilogy of terror doll might give him a fight. A good run for his money. But,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, there would be kind of undercracked camera running around there. What's this here? Have you seen this?
No. The only short I've seen, that I can recall anyway, with a doll in, was like a ventriloquist dummy, is Silently Within Your Shadow by Scott Lias.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
I'd like to check out that episode.
Yep. Here Villachess joke came to mind, but I'm not going there. Because he was underutilized. He was brilliant in The Man with the Golden Gun, and he could have been great in some horror movie stuff. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, chap. So that's dolls. We just kind of like a glancing look at killer doll movies, or movies where people kill people with dolls. as well, which is it's a much more varied genre than I actually thought it was going to be. We did a show recently where we were looking at sort of like vigilantes and vengeance and all that kind of stuff. And that's usually something that kind of like ties into all the Doll movies as well. I kind of guess when I was watching them, I kind of thought this is a theme that's kind of prevalent amongst this genre too. Whether it's like a spirit or the ventriloquist or somebody taking revenge, and I just thought to myself that's a kind of like a driving factor of a lot of horror movies. So when you're starting to kind of like formulate an idea for your next movie or that, how do you kind of like sidestep the obvious cliches and tropes of the genre?
I don't know if you can really. I don't know if you can. I just, I just have an idea and I basically roll with that. I don't know. I think it's up to other people to tell me if there's any cliches in my films. I'm sure there are.
So you probably just embrace them.
I don't specifically try to, sidestep anything really. It's just more what I want to create, and I'll just go and do that. Cool.
I just wonder that because I embrace them in my comic books. To an almost more dramatic level, I have to say. So, and speaking of which, we're going to before we take leave this evening, we're going to kind of like do a wee bit of shilling for everybody here, and let everybody in the chat know where they can find all of our wares. I do this every time I'm on here. It's like I lose track of what I'm doing in the StreamYards. I don't know where I'm going because I've now got all this fancy stuff as I didn't have a couple of weeks ago, like overlays and all that kind of stuff. Your dolls. Yeah, we haven't mentioned your dolls 1987.
Oh yeah, and for the first time last night.
And the terrifying back piss. Yes, indeed. Right, so I'm going to have to come out the chat. Yeah. I tell I'm an old guy because I actually speak out loud what I'm thinking. It's shocking. So that's right now, and look at this. Okay, here we go. We'll do that, and we'll bring this in. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, hey, okay, right. Here we go, guys. It's shell time. I'll start with our campaigns before we go in to show you where you can see all of Emma's stuff. Elsa Dark. We are Team Dark here at the horror show. Yeah, and so that's another reason why I thought our first guest has got to be Emma Dark because it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So Elsa Dark is Scotland's werewolf vampire fighting heroine. Is doing well, in demand, fully funded, and it's going to be in demand until I get it finished and shipped out at the end of May. So please, if you are new to the channel, please give it a wee looky. There's Pete from the chat who's actually in the comic as a character, and it's got werewolves. It's got werewolves with monocles and mustaches. Come on. What's not to love? And it's got Elsa Dark, who is a horror hostess, but that's kind of like a secret identity because what she really does is she goes out and she takes care of all these bad beasties and ghouls and vampires and things. So please give that a look. And if you fancy backing it, please do. If you think it's not quite for me, please share the link anyway and get it out there because that's really appreciated if you could do that. Lucifer, last week, got fully funded.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
How many hours or minutes was it to go? You did it.
It was literally like a handful of hours. I think it was like literally about like 4 or 5 hours, and it was like, oh shit, is this gonna fun? And we did more than fun. We got to that first stretch goal because you guys are fucking awesome. Mwah, thank you, all of you.
So, Lady Satan, an angel in a killer's dress. So that means I'm getting my hardcover, doesn't it? Yeah.
It means that you are getting your hardcover. Do you want me to do the pitch?
Go for it.
Okay, so Lady Satan is a revenge tale unlike any other. It takes elements of the thriller and the horror genre and blends them together with a noir aesthetic to tell a truly haunting, character-driven story through vengeance and darkness. This is the tale of Lucille, a stripper from France who was abducted to be the lead in a snuff film, but she did something that no one else has done. She survived. And because of this, she becomes the vigilante Lady Satan, travels from town to town, taking down small-time crooks until she ends up on British soil, where she discovers that the man who abused her in front of the camera is a high-ranking British police officer under investigation from the MI5, which means she has one chance and one chance only to exact her revenge.
Well, as always, well done. And that's all within the first 4 pages, guys.
Yeah, it gets really crazy after
It
that.
gets really crazy after that. Yeah. So we've got all kinds of horror. We've got Hammer-inspired horror here, and we've got like a postmodern, post-video nasty, arty horror here. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right. And I've already started getting some of the backer perks in, like this beautiful
I'm
A4
going to
print.
big you up.
Go on, big it up. Look at that. This beautiful A4 print, which is printed on 250 GSM paper, silk paper, and it has a nice soft touch lamination to it, which is it's absolutely beautiful. So we've already got these in. There's going to be a few more of the backer perks coming in over the next few weeks as well.
Excellent. Yeah, it's cool because I've got my postcards in, which I showed everybody the other week there. Just getting things printed as the campaign goes on. So they're all piling up, which is great. So that's us. We've done a bit of shilling. You've had to sit through that. Sorry, this is what we're really here for. I'll quickly check the chat. There we go. Nothing happening. That's cool. Emma Dark's website, emmadark.com. Please check it out. Would you like to do a little pitch for yourself here, Emma?
Yeah.
Is there anything that we want to push them to? Because I would say that they probably want to head here and have a look at the official merchandise that's on sale, where they can actually get a hold of. Because if you hit on that, you go straight to here, and you see you can get. And in some cases, hopefully there's 3 people already buying that. That's probably people in our chat. You can get the stuff here. It's all signed as well by the looks of things, so that's cracking.
Yeah, you can't get it not signed.
Yep. So.
You can. If you don't want it signed, you can always say, don't sign it, and I won't sign it. That'll
cost you more, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do that. And before you do that, head on to the films here and have a look at the work itself.
Yeah. So this is like so I've recently redone all my website and stuff. So this is a one stop shop basically for everything. So it's got all my films in there. It's got the acting stuff. It's got all links off to everything. So every link you need is pretty much on here. I've put some FAQs in as well because people tend to ask me the same questions, sort of like. By social media and stuff.
I should have read them before we did this.
That's all right. Yeah.
So are you a director, writer, or actor? Okay, cool. That's good. But more people should do this.
Yeah. The one, if people want to get film advice or anything like that, there's a few routes. So if you go onto my press page, this one's got a whole bunch of stuff on it. So
cool.
They can, if it's just related to film and not filmmaking, I might be able to answer it in We Belong Dead. Or they can go and get back copies of Digital Filmmaker magazine. There's loads of stuff in there.
Cool.
Or they can ask me for a cameo video request and I can give advice via that, either via message or video and stuff. So nice. I'm always happy to do those things. And it's got all my press on and magazines I've been in and stuff, video interviews. Everything I do really is kind of rolled up into this press page, so I think that's a good one for people to have a look at.
Yeah, good stuff. So do that, guys. Go along, give it a look. And where can everybody find you on the social media?
If they just type in Emma Dark, they'll find me. So
That's obviously that as well.
They might find some other people called Emma Dark as well, obviously. But
Right.
yeah, if they can't find me, if they
Real
just go on my
Emma Dark.
website, yeah, well, no, it's Emma Dark official on most things.
Official. Right.
But yeah, if they just go onto my website, I've got all the social media links on there. So
Cool.
I've really tried to
Excellent.
make that just a single source of finding everything you need to know.
Excellent.
And
Now,
nothing you
Wise
don't need
Guys
to know.
has put the link to your YouTube. It's in the chat, and Pete's got the link to your webpage in the chat
Thank
as
you.
well, and to the Etsy. And the link to the webpage is down below in the description below as well. You can find all the links down there. Yeah, so that's us. That's our horror show for tonight and for this month. Before we go, a quick kind of like, sorry guys, I'm going to have to cover us all for a second here. A quick reminder of what's happening next week. Statistical Zero, who was here a bit earlier in the chat, will be joining me next week. And we're going to be doing Wullie and Stato at the movies. Season 2 started. It's the second episode, and we're picking our top 10 John Wayne films. Why not? That's what we're doing next week on this channel at 8 o'clock. And then me and Lucifer will be here on Tuesday night with the Team Dark live stream, where we just do what we want, to be honest. We just see what happens. I try to work on my comic.
And I put him off.
We usually end up watching, I don't know, we were watching trailers for that fake Charles Bronson guy, you know, the guy that looks like Charles Bronson.
No, what fake Charles Bronson guy?
We may have to watch it now.
Yeah, we may have to watch it now.
It's amazing.
If so, okay. I shall Google it. Lucy, take over for a second.
Yeah, basically, this guy popped up. He is a spitting image of Charles Bronson. And people started going, you know what? We need to make like a new Death Wish style movie and get this guy in the lead. And they that's been their their unique selling point. It's been going, doesn't this guy look like Charles Bronson? Whether he sounds like him or not, I've got no fucking idea.
Wow. So he just popped up on a YouTube channel or something, or?
It's something like that. I don't know where the hell he came from, but he just popped up out of nowhere, and everyone's kind of like, "Yes, we need more of him."
Yeah, you just need to type in fake Charles Bronson. He has a name. I'm sure that Pete or somebody is right now in the chat screaming the name to me. But yeah, this is a trailer for the movie here. We'll watch at least up until fake Charles Bronson shows up.
Okay, so he is actually acting in something then.
Yeah, he is.
No. Wow.
We spent most of the time trying to figure out which Baldwin that was because. Yes. He's even shaped like Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
And he's even got the 1970s tie, which is a nice touch. But yeah, that's what a find. Eh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they sort of aged that footage, I would be convinced. So
yeah.
Charles Nonson.
Wouldn't it be amazing though if they were like, okay, here's your lines, and then like they filmed him and like he looks like Charles Bronson, he's intimidating, but he's got a really high pitched voice and speaks like that. that would just be
that's you want to use dub. Yeah, Robert Bronson. That's who.
Is that the actor's name?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or at least that's the name. That's his probably stage name by the look of it. Yeah, I doubt
Yeah,
that's
it was
an
named
actual name.
Bronzy. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what we do on Tuesday nights. So if you're on the internet at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you know, welcome to come and say hello. That's kind of what we get up to, and we're occasionally joined by the ghost of Walter Brennan as well, which
Yes.
is our friend Stato does lots of impersonations, but they're all from about 50 years ago. Nobody knows what they are. Right. So yeah, everybody. As always, we end the show in a really classy way by not having a clue how to end the show. So, but just a big thank you to Emma for coming along and joining us tonight and sharing your fantastic collection there. It really is. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah. No problem. Good luck with whatever you're going to be doing with Otis. And we'll hopefully catch up with you once it's done and you can have another little chat and get it out there. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Awesome. So thank you very much. Lovely to meet you both. And yourself. Lovely to meet you too. Everybody in the chat, thanks again. We'll see you on Tuesday night. Take care.